Chargers. Matt Ryan leaving Atlanta after spending his entire career there thus far, drafted back in 2008. So speaking of the draft, not necessarily the Colts, but what does this mean for the Falcons? They have the 8th overall pick, and Ryan Wilson has had them taking Malik Willis at number 8. They're the top prospects going into this year's draft, so the Falcons now be targeting a quarterback. Let's welcome in our draft expert, Ryan Wilson, to talk about this breaking news. I want to get your reaction to it because so far we've talked to a handful of people and all of them love it. What about you?
No, I like it too, and it's sort of funny, Amanda, because a few days ago the conversation was, okay, Baker wants to go to Indianapolis. Is that where he ends up? And then we started to hear rumblings that even though Matt Ryan was going to stay in Atlanta, or at least that Deshaun Watson had not gone to Atlanta, Matt Ryan may be looking to get out as well, and you can understand given how the last 48 to 72 hours unfolded for him. And then you sort of felt like the Colts made some sense, a lot of sense even, for Matt Ryan, perhaps even more so than Baker Mayfield. Obviously, Baker's still in his 20s. Matt Ryan's going to be 37 soon. That said, it just feels like the next step in progression of the musical chairs at quarterback that we've seen Indianapolis go through since Andrew Luck. We've had Jacoby Brissett be the starter 1 year, Phillip Rivers, of course, and then Carson Winston worked out last year. Now we're on to Matt Ryan, and it feels like, as B-Mac noted in the last segment, that this team is now in the mix for the division and, of course, a playoff run. They should have made the playoffs last year. Things fell apart at the end, especially with that Week 18 loss to the Jaguars. It's still sort of hard to explain. And now Chris Ballard and Frank Reich have moved on to Matt Ryan, who, as we've noted, had a chance to win a Super Bowl, got so close, didn't do it. And I think now this will be his next best opportunity to make a deep playoff run.
Let's go to the draft. Your latest mock draft hit just a matter of hours ago on CBSSports.com before all this went down. So there's going to be another revised version. In that next one, the Falcons, as I mentioned, the 8th pick overall right now, you have them taking a safety, Kyle Hamilton, out of Notre Dame. Will that change next week? What does this do for them in the draft?
Yeah, that's the thing. I'm sort of him and hawing because we got to figure out what Arthur Smith likes. We heard Pete Prisco say earlier that he has that relationship with Marcus Mariota, who may be the dark horse free agent candidate to be the bridge quarterback, but that doesn't mean the Falcons won't target one with that top 10 pick of theirs. I've been saying it for months. There's not a quarterback worth taking in the top 10. That doesn't mean it won't happen. Malik Willis, has the highest upside, so perhaps that's a guy you target there at 8, or maybe you take whoever the best player available is. If Kayvon Thibodeau slips down there to number 8, they have huge needs at edge rusher. Maybe you take a Garrett Wilson. They have huge needs at wide receiver. You can take someone like that will help whoever the quarterback ends up being. But the understanding with a guy like Malik Willis is that he probably needs to sit a year. We'll see how the team feels about him that ends up drafting him. But if you get Kenny Pickett there, he has a chance to start sooner rather than later. I like Sam Howell more than most people after going back and watching him. I don't think he goes that high. But they have pick 43 at the top of the second round there, and they could be targeting a Matt Corral or perhaps a Sam Howell there, depending on how those quarterbacks shake out in the first round. But when you're the Falcons and have a ton of needs, there's a lot of players you can target at 8 to make your football team better, and I think that should be the primary plan. That said, we see teams all the time fall in love with quarterbacks and ending up overdrafting some. Sometimes it works out. Other times it doesn't. And we'll find out together in about 6 weeks what the Falcons end up doing. Wouldn't be shocked if it's Malik Willis, but I also would understand if they addressed other needs with perhaps a player that fits the value there at 8.
Do you want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis, no yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.